As you guys know, we've been covering everything in the transfer window and particularly related to Arsenal. We talked about our pre-season game yesterday if you want to check that out, guys. And we also obviously talked about Bruno Guimaraes and the confirmation of us signing him for 75 mil. We've been updating you guys a lot with the Vini saga, and today, unfortunately, it has come to an end in the way I think most people expected. We know David Ornstein officially broke the news just under 2 weeks ago, with Arsenal exploring a move for Vini if he doesn't renew his contract. It was entering a crucial stage with the contract stalling for 18 months. So it was very tense, and a lot of people were kind of 50-50. Will he stay at Real Madrid? Will he go to Arsenal? Arsenal was definitely a viable option, as it has been written. 26-year-old attracted by opportunity if he can't renew. We know the aim was obviously to stay at Real Madrid, always for him, but if they couldn't agree, then he was going to leave. And this was the shocking part yesterday. I made a video, obviously. I've been making a video every step of the way of this journey, it feels like, with Vini. And Real Madrid out of nowhere raised their contract offer. Now, we kind of knew they were going to stay firm on what they put forward. It was rumoured to be, I think, 22 million. And Vini wanted a lot more. We were offering, I think, around 30. So that just shows you. But they raised the offer. We don't know the figures in this piece that David Ornstein put yesterday, but it was obviously reflecting his importance to Real Madrid. So they raised it, which I don't think a lot of people expected. I certainly didn't expect Perez to do that. We know how stubborn they are and how they'd rather the player, like obviously Real Madrid, the stature of the club, they'd rather the player comes down to their terms, but it wasn't the case. Real Madrid showed they really wanted to keep him, and definitely didn't want him to risk leaving for free next summer or pursuing the Arsenal opportunity. That's for sure. So, hey, man, it was very, very interesting. And we know that today even, the differences persisted. And if he doesn't renew, then the club will transfer him. But there was obviously a difference with what he wants and what Real Madrid offered. But the breakthrough was they raised the offer. So they showed they wanted to keep him more than they did before, which was kind of the dagger, really. I knew after this where it's done, pretty much. I said yesterday, 75% he's going. It was probably more than that. And the bomber came not long ago, guys. An hour ago. Real Madrid reached agreement with Vini to sign a new contract. They raised the offer after 18 months of failed talks to produce the breakthrough and set to confirm the extension. 26-year-old was open to Arsenal move if no renewal. So let the haters talk, Arsenal fans, man. We've been here and we know where we stand now. We're at the top table when it comes to transfers. We've shown now that our aims are for the very best players on the market. This is significant for not just obviously him and Real Madrid. It's more than that. For Arsenal, where we've come from in about 6-7 years to now, it's mind blowing. We're out here pressuring Real Madrid. I know a lot of rival fans are going to say nonsense like, oh, he used us for a contract extension. I can see why it looks like that. But if you read into all these reports, reliable reports from David Ornstein, Tier 1 journalists, Mario Cortehena as well, this was far from him using us for a contract. He was simply feeling like he wasn't getting the contract he deserved. And if he didn't, we already knew in principle there were personal terms agreed with the possibility of him coming to Arsenal if the contract didn't get renewed. Now, we know that's the priority for him, and it always has been. But there was a slim chance Arsenal could have got him, but it wasn't to be, guys. It wasn't to be. And we know why Fabrizio didn't say a word on it. If you haven't already, go check out this clip. I'm not hating Fabrizio here. I like Fabrizio and I respect him, but at the same time, it was a bit odd how he wasn't talking about Vini, and now we know why. There's clips of him saying no chance Vini comes to Arsenal at the start of the window, and there was definitely a chance. So I think he wanted to lay low for a bit until the contract was renewed. I predicted it weeks ago. Go check out my ex. I said this on there. But we now know, obviously, Fabrizio, as soon as this was breaking, the meeting between Madrid and Vini and his agents was very positive, all parties involved. We know that they've had a few meetings and couldn't reach an agreement straight away. But this was the dagger yesterday. We knew that Rock Nation, there was tweets from Hand of Arsenal, Tier 1 Arsenal journalist, saying about Rock Nation kind of showing Real Madrid the offer Arsenal put forward, because we put forward a mental offer. I believe it was 30 mil a year, shattering our wages. I'm talking 600k a week, something mad like that. Like, absolutely mental. So the package we offered was better, but he loves Real Madrid, so there's nothing we could have done. Now, this was obviously increasingly confident, new proposal, Madrid optimistic, and Vini's camps. Mourinho got involved as well. We know Mourinho obviously wants to keep him, but we know there's a backstory there. Mourinho didn't defend him in that alleged racial abuse incident with Prestiani. It was interesting. There are a lot of indications as to, will he stay or will he go? It was definitely not, he's obviously going to stay at Real Madrid. Like, yeah, in hindsight, he was obviously always going to want to stay. But there were a lot of things, roadblocks kind of in his way. Even Rodri, which we're going to talk about later in the video. Mourinho was personally involved in his new contract. Discussions pushing for him to stay. And Jose wants him to stay. But at the end of the day, it's kind of out of Jose's hand. But that was obviously giving him the confidence to stay if the manager really wants him to. But this incident was not it at all. And story confirmed, he signs a new 6-year deal, 26 years old. So this means kind of Real Madrid's going to be his last big club, which is very interesting. We're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. I'm not on the hate train. I like Vini. He's a fantastic player. I'm gutted we don't have him. But at the same time, it was always going to be, he was going to renew. Like, it was always kind of more that way than him coming to Arsenal. But the hope kills you guys. It really, really does. I'm gutted. But at the same time, it's his club. And let's see how it works out. Mourinho's got a rebuild to take care of. They've signed players. They're missing players. And we're going to talk about Rodri because that's looking dark. But Mbappe, Vini, will it work? Will it work? I don't know, guys. It never has. And yeah, it's a shame because the one thing I will say, this is with bias, if he went to Arsenal, not only would it have been a ballsy move, but it could have paid in his favour. Yes, we're not as big as Real Madrid, but he could have been the main man at Arsenal. He would have been the highest paid player, one of in the world, more than he's getting at Real Madrid. 100% image rights. Potential to win us our first Champions League. Main man, face of the club, statue outside the Emirates. Win the Ballon d'Or. I think he's got a lot more chance of doing that elsewhere than Real Madrid. But let's see if he can get the reins back and become the main man again. But I just think when Mbappe's there, he is always going to be the main man. So let's see what happens, man. But yeah, until 2032. Very, very interesting. And Vini put a quote out, blah, blah, blah. We don't care anymore. Let's be real. We don't care. It's done. It's finito. Now, a lot of people franchise this guy. I'm not sure if he's an ITK or not. He may be one of them ones who's posting a lot. But this was a good list of alternatives. I've said this in a video. Go check it out a few days ago. I listed my alternatives. Leao, obviously, leaving AC Milan, confirmed. Not many people want him. I wouldn't take him personally as our main left winger. He's an exciting player, but he's very hot and cold. He's very inconsistent. Nusa, again, different sort of player. Young, lots of potential, exciting, got a lot of ability, but I don't know if he's ready to be our main left winger. Yildiz is one I'm more inclined to gamble on than Nusa because I think he's got a bit more about him. And he's got attributes that I think could really work in our favour. And Jai, kind of similar to other reasons why I wouldn't want him as our main left winger. I just don't know if he's got that in him to kick on substantially from the likes of Martinelli, for example. I don't know. He's at Everton. It's not really the same. Musiala is a very interesting one because he's obviously not a left winger, but that would be a statement signing. That would be a statement signing from Bayern Munich. Injuries have kind of killed him recently, but that's an interesting one. And Endrick, we know we were linked to another Madrid player that still hasn't come out, but Endrick would be a decent rotation option, but not a main player. Alvarez is the one I'm looking at. I made it in my video. We're still looking at Alvarez according to a lot of reports. Atletico Madrid, he may still want to leave. Barcelona, less likely to sign him now. I know that was his dream, but Atleti aren't going to want to sell him to a rival. So that is the one I'm looking at as a potential alternative to Vini in terms of main signing. And I think we'll get more than one player, honestly. If we're to be serious in this market, we need Alvarez and another. Like, realistically, guys, if you look at it here, if you want, like, Alvarez as your main signing to compete in the attack, you can sign Njai with Alvarez. Nusa with Alvarez. Leao with Alvarez. Even Rashford with Alvarez. But more importantly, we do need a main left winger. So I'm more focused on potentially Alvarez, but more importantly, the likes of Barcola, Nico Williams, guys like this, Yildiz, like left wingers. We need a left winger to compete with Solis and Martinelli. We've lost Trossard, our highest output winger. So that is not ideal. The drop-off is big from Vinny. So we're going to have to wait and see what we do in the market. Now, the Yan Diomande stuff, this is where Fabrizio's been questioned a lot. He here we go'd it a long time ago. Literally like 2 weeks ago nearly. And it wasn't done. Now we know over 100 mil, very vague, no exact fee. A lot of people accused him of jumping the gun, and it looks like it was because he was back in Leipzig training very soon after. We know it's obviously he has to do that because being professional, not forcing a move. But that means it wasn't done. He wasn't going to Madrid signing his contract. Now we know here we go kind of seals that in terms of he's going. But he wasn't going. That's the thing a lot of people were questioning. He was literally ill and he was recovering and he was back in training on the 5th yesterday. And this is where everyone was like, what the hell is Fabrizio on? But eventually it was confirmed. For the last 2 days he's been reiterating that he's going to Madrid. But a lot of people have been questioning his reporting. Officially today, joins Real Madrid. And it was on a lot bigger than everyone thought. We saw a lot of rejected bids. Liverpool, PSG tried to get involved. 125 million euros plus 15 in add-ons. One of, I think, the most expensive Real Madrid transfer of all time, no? That is mental. That is mental. A lot of pressure's on him now. Bellingham was, I think, the highest, and now it's Yan Diomande. That is insane. 19 years old, very exciting player, a lot of ability, but can he translate that to Real Madrid with the pressure on him? Hey, he's got a lot of potential. I think it will work for him, but with the pressure on him, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with it. It's a lot of money to pay for him, though. I think that's a lot of potential in that fee. Let's be honest. It's not really what he's worth, but we'll see if he lives up to it. Now, Leipzig took the piss and said, here we actually go. Like, mate, Fabrizio, that was a howler. Like, all this reporting around Diomande, thank God it's over. But the breaking news today was Real Madrid and Rodri. Now, we know Real Madrid eventually have approached City for Rodri. He wasn't considered at first. He was kind of twerking for the Madrid move. He was saying it's his dream. He wants to leave City and he wants to go to Spain, which is fair enough. Ballon d'Or winner, insane World Cup campaign. This is the signing I think every Madrid fan knew they wanted, and Perez eventually gave the green light. Real indicated they wanted to spend over 50 million euros. We know City were going to want more than that. We know he's 30, but if he stays fit, he's still top tier midfielder, arguably the best in the world still. So this is crazy. Now, we know after the World Cup, he was probably going to leave City, but today, Barcelona swooped in. Barcelona, their arch rivals, are hijacking the deal. This is poetry in motion, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here for it. Visca Barca, all right? Not even just saying that because of the Vini stuff. It's just funny to see. But we know they made contact with Rodri's camp today about to Man City. Real Madrid were in talks for weeks, but they didn't accept to proceed immediately as City knew that more clubs would get involved. And it's all up to the player now. This is the breaking. Now, we know it's all up to Rodri. Barcelona and Real Madrid are both ready to pay a similar fee, but he was in negotiations with Madrid for weeks as a priority. But they couldn't reach an agreement, like Diomande and PSG, like Diomande and Liverpool. It happens. Like Arsenal and Rodgers, it happens a lot with players. You think they're set on one destination, another club swoops in. And that's exactly what Barcelona have done, so fair play to them. They've got their lick back. Rodri's signing, it was frozen, according to a lot of reports today. And Barca swooped in. They swooped in. Pepe Alvarez, a Real Madrid source, was saying that the deal should have been closed, but hey, the only way they could fix it now is by paying more than Barca, and I don't know if Madrid were willing to do that. Now we know he had an agreement for days, guys, days and days and days, but Barca just swooped in. This is absolutely crazy, and now Rodri, it looks like he could turn his head because a lot of reports have stated he's opening the doors to Barca. I can't believe what I'm reading, guys. This is a sensational hijack if I've ever seen one myself. Let's see if it goes through. But my oh my, this would be cinema. This would be absolute cinema, guys. Rodri opens doors to Barca for the very first time. Barca remain careful with Madrid, but we're going to have to wait and see. Will Madrid overpay what Barca are willing to pay? Or will he just agree terms with Barca and go to Barca instead of Madrid? That would be cinema, and I'd love that. Now, apparently, according to a few sources, he's chosen Barca, but let's slow down a bit. I don't know if he actually has, but apparently they've been in contact with Hansi Flick and Deco, and he's given the green light. So this is a real indication if Fabrizio's tweeting this. Official contract proposal already in agents' hands, and Barca made contact with City. Operation full speed for Barca. So Madrid, fries in the bag, man. You took way too long, and you fumbled quite possibly the most important signing you were going to make. Now, this is a real lack of kind of, I'd say, addressing the key parts of your team, because as much as Vinny staying's good news for the player itself, number one, there's still imbalance in the attack with Vini and Mbappe. We know this. Can they eventually work? We don't know. Two, they've spent a lot of money renewing his contract. And three, you need Rodri more than Vini, arguably, because yes, Vini's done so much for Real Madrid. I understand, guys. I'm not saying they don't need him anymore. That's not what I'm saying. But their midfield's a mess. Their midfield is still a mess. There's no balance there. Tchouameni's obviously there. Camavinga could have been on his way out. Bellingham is a brilliant player, but Rodri would have completed that midfield so well. He would have added the stability. He would have worked absolutely brilliantly. He's played with Bernardo Silva. It would have made a lot more sense. And I think Rodri should have been a priority signing for Madrid. That was the biggest deal they were going to do, and they fumbled it to their arch rivals. That is embarrassing. Rodri at Barcelona is going to be ridiculous. Pedri, De Jong, and Rodri. Oh my word. That is arguably the best midfield in the world. Hey man, that is sensational. With Yamal, oh my, I don't even want to think about that. This is going to be insane if it goes through. But let me know what you guys think. Vinny's renewal, obviously. Rodri to Barca, possibly. And the eventual Diomande deal, which finally got confirmed. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe if you're new. It's been Jay-Z Knows Ball, and I'm out. Peace out, guys. Take care.